Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and wondered why they are blue, brown, green, or almost black? At first glance, eye color may seem like a simple physical trait, no different from hair color or height. But the truth is far more fascinating. Your eye color is actually the result of thousands of years of human evolution, ancient genetic mutations, and biological processes that scientists are still studying today. In fact, hidden within your eyes is a story that stretches back to the very beginning of human history. But before we uncover that story, take a moment to subscribe and join us for more fascinating science videos. Eye colors vary greatly across the world. Some people have deep brown eyes. Others have bright blue eyes, rare green eyes, or a mixture of several colors. But if we could travel back in time tens of thousands of years and look at the first modern humans, we would discover something surprising. Scientists believe that almost every human on Earth originally had brown eyes. That's right. For thousands of generations, brown eyes were likely the only eye color that existed. Why? The answer lies in a natural pigment called melanin. Melanin is the same substance responsible for the color of your skin and hair. It also plays an important protective role by helping shield the body from harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. In regions where sunlight was intense, having more melanin provided an evolutionary advantage. As a result, dark eyes became the dominant eye color among early humans. For a very long time, this remained unchanged. Then something extraordinary happened. Somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago, a tiny genetic mutation occurred in a single human being. It was not a dramatic mutation, it didn't create a new organ or give anyone superhuman abilities. Instead, it simply altered the amount of melanin produced in the iris of the eye. Yet this small change would eventually spread across continents and affect millions of people. Scientists believe that this mutation gave rise to the first blue eyes. Think about that for a moment. Every blue-eyed person alive today may share a distant common ancestor from thousands of years ago. One small genetic change may have influenced generations of families and shaped the appearance of millions of people around the world. But here's something even more surprising. Blue eyes aren't actually blue. It sounds impossible, but it's true. Unlike brown eyes, which contain large amounts of melanin pigment, blue eyes contain very little pigment. The blue color appears because of the way light interacts with the structures inside the iris. When light enters the eye, shorter blue wavelengths scatter more easily than other colors, creating the appearance of blue. It's a phenomenon similar to why the sky appears blue during the day. In other words, blue eyes are partly an optical illusion created by physics. As human populations migrated across different regions of the world, eye colors continued to diversify. New combinations of genes produced green eyes, hazel eyes, amber eyes, and countless subtle variations. Today, eye color is influenced by multiple genes working together in complex ways. For many years, scientists believed eye color was controlled by a single gene. However, modern genetic research has revealed that the process is much more complicated. Several genes contribute to the final color of a person's eyes, which explains why eye color can vary even among members of the same family. This is why two brown-eyed parents can sometimes have a blue-eyed child, and why siblings often have different eye colors. Nature is far more creative than we once imagined, and while eye color may seem like a small detail, it represents one of the most visible examples of human genetic diversity. Every eye color tells a story of migration, adaptation, and evolution. Brown eyes are the most common eye color on Earth. In fact, nearly 80% of the world's population has brown eyes. Because they're so common, many people assume there's nothing special about them. But that couldn't be further from the truth. As scientists continue to study eye color, they've discovered that brown eyes may possess several surprising advantages that most people have never heard about. And it all begins with one powerful substance: melanin. Melanin is the pigment responsible for the dark color found in brown eyes. But melanin does much more than create color. It acts like a natural shield. For thousands of years, humans lived under intense sunlight without sunglasses, hats, or modern protection. The eyes were constantly exposed to ultraviolet radiation. People with higher levels of melanin in their eyes had a natural advantage. Their eyes could absorb more sunlight and reduce the amount of harmful radiation reaching sensitive tissues inside the eye. In other words, brown eyes came equipped with built-in protection. This may explain why brown eyes became the dominant eye color across much of the world. Nature tends to favor traits that help people survive. And for ancient humans living under strong sunlight, darker eyes were often beneficial. But that's only the beginning. Researchers have found that people with brown eyes may be less sensitive to bright sunlight than people with lighter colored eyes. Have you ever noticed that some people seem perfectly comfortable on a sunny day while others are constantly squinting? Part of that difference may be related to eye color. The additional melanin found in brown eyes helps filter incoming light before it reaches the retina. This doesn't mean brown-eyed people have superhuman vision, but it does mean their eyes may naturally handle bright conditions more comfortably. And here's something even more surprising. For decades, scientists believed eye color was little more than a cosmetic trait. Today, researchers know that eye color is connected to a wide network of genes that influence many different biological processes. Some studies have explored possible links between eye color and reaction times, pain tolerance, and even certain health conditions. The results are still being debated, and scientists continue to investigate these relationships. But one thing is clear: eye color is far more complex than most people realize. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest myths surrounding brown eyes. Many people assume that brown eyes are simply ordinary. But genetically speaking, brown eyes are incredibly fascinating. The exact shade of brown can vary dramatically from person to person. Some eyes appear golden brown, others look dark chocolate. Some seem almost black in certain lighting conditions. The reason for these differences lies in the amount and distribution of melanin within the iris. Even two people with brown eyes rarely have exactly the same eye color, and that's because every iris is unique. In fact, the detailed patterns found inside your iris are so complex that modern security systems use them for identification. Your iris contains tiny rings, lines, and textures that are unique to you. Every time you look in the mirror, you're looking at one of the most unique biological signatures on the planet. The eye color that may connect millions of people to a single ancient ancestor. Imagine looking into a mirror and seeing evidence of a genetic event that happened thousands of years ago. If you have blue eyes, that may be exactly what's happening. Blue eyes are among the most fascinating traits found in the human body. But because their very existence may be traced back to a single genetic mutation that occurred thousands of years ago. And according to scientists, every blue-eyed person alive today may be connected to that same ancient event. The earliest humans almost certainly had brown eyes. After generation, people inherited dark eye colors because high levels of melanin provided protection from the sun. Then, somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago, something unexpected happened. A small mutation appeared in a gene involved in eye pigmentation. The mutation didn't completely remove melanin. Instead, it dramatically reduced the amount produced in the iris. As a result, a completely new eye color emerged: blue. At first, it existed in only one person. And over thousands of years, blue eyes became common throughout parts of Europe and beyond. Millions of people living today may share a tiny piece of DNA inherited from a single ancient ancestor, a mutation so small that it changed the appearance of future generations forever. But here's the strangest part: blue eyes aren't actually blue. It sounds impossible. After all, when you look at someone with blue eyes, you clearly see blue. Yet scientists have discovered that blue irises contain very little blue pigment. In fact, they contain almost no blue pigment at all. The blue appearance comes from the way light interacts with the structures inside the iris. When light enters the eye, shorter wavelengths scatter more strongly than longer wavelengths. The scattered light appears blue to our eyes. It's the same physical phenomenon that makes the sky appear blue. The sky isn't painted blue, and blue eyes aren't truly blue either. Both are created by the way light behaves. Once you know this fact, it's difficult to look at blue eyes the same way again. You're not seeing a blue pigment. You're seeing physics in action. But blue eyes come with some unique characteristics. Because they contain less melanin, they allow more light to pass through the iris. This often makes blue-eyed individuals more sensitive to bright environments. Have you ever noticed someone immediately reaching for sunglasses on a sunny day? Many people with blue eyes report greater discomfort in bright sunlight compared to people with darker eyes. The same reduced pigmentation that creates their eye color also provides less natural filtering of incoming light. Of course, blue eyes also have advantages. The lower amount of pigment allows certain details and patterns within the iris to become more visible. This creates the striking appearance that many people find attractive. And speaking of attraction, blue eyes have been the subject of scientific research for years. Researchers have explored whether eye color influences social perception, attractiveness, and mate selection. While results vary between studies, one thing is clear: human beings have always been fascinated by rare traits. And throughout history, blue eyes often stood out because they were uncommon. But perhaps the most remarkable fact is that blue eyes remind us how powerful genetics can be. And thousands of years later, millions of people across the world still carry its effects. It's a reminder that evolution doesn't always happen through dramatic transformations. Sometimes it begins with a microscopic change hidden inside a single cell. a change so small that nobody notices it at first. Yet over centuries, it can reshape entire populations. If blue eyes are fascinating, green eyes are even more mysterious. Only about 2% of the world's population has naturally green eyes, making them one of the rarest eye colors on Earth. But green eyes aren't created by a single green eye gene. Instead, they result from a rare combination of multiple genes, a moderate amount of melanin, and the way light scatters inside the iris. This unique interaction gives green eyes their striking appearance. One of their most fascinating features is that they can seem to change color. Depending on lighting, clothing, or even the surrounding environment, green eyes may appear emerald, olive, gray, or even slightly blue. This isn't because the eye color is changing, it's simply the way light reflects within the iris. Green eyes are most common in Northern and Central Europe, particularly in countries like Ireland, Scotland, and Iceland, although they can appear in people of many different ethnic backgrounds. Many people think green eyes are simply a mix of blue and brown, but that's not true. They are a completely distinct eye color with their own unique genetic origin. Even today, scientists continue studying the complex genetics behind eye color, discovering just how intricate the human genome really is. But while green eyes are incredibly rare, there's another eye color that many people believe exists, even though science says otherwise. Have you ever seen someone whose eyes look completely black? Many people believe black is the rarest eye color. But scientifically, natural black eyes don't actually exist. What we call black eyes are usually extremely dark brown eyes containing very high levels of melanin. The iris absorbs so much light that, especially from a distance or in dim lighting, it appears completely black. Under brighter light, however, the dark brown color becomes visible. This high concentration of melanin is the result of human evolution. Early humans living under intense sunlight developed more melanin, not only in their skin but also in their eyes, helping protect them from harmful ultraviolet radiation. Another reason eyes can appear black is the pupil. In low light, the pupil expands and blends almost perfectly with a very dark iris, creating the illusion of completely black eyes. Movies and TV have exaggerated this effect for years, reinforcing a myth that biology simply doesn't support. So, do black eyes really exist? Not exactly. They're actually the darkest shade of brown, a reminder of one of humanity's oldest evolutionary adaptations. And perhaps the real science behind them is even more fascinating than the myth itself. And that's the incredible story behind human eye colors, from the first brown eyes to the rare beauty of green eyes and the science behind the myth of black eyes. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe.